Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor, a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I share these What's for Dinner videos every Sunday to hopefully give you some motivation to cook more for your family and some new meal ideas. I don't really have anything new to share with you guys this week though. It was kind of an off week for us we had a parents' night out where the kids stayed and we were able to go out to dinner. And then we had Elijah's birthday and we had Halloween and Andy got a tooth pulled and there was just a lot going on this week. So it was an off week, but hope you guys still enjoyed this video. Now let's go ahead and get into it. So we're starting off with Saturday night. Typically I start on Friday, but Friday night was parents' night out at the kids' karate studio. So they got to stay there and eat pizza for 2 hours, and then Andy and I got to go out to dinner and we went to Outback, and I forgot to take pictures of anything, but that's what was up with Friday night. And then Saturday was Elijah's birthday and his birthday party, and he chose to have his birthday dinner the next day when we were going to the mall and going out and celebrating his birthday out of the house, not at his party. So for easy dinner after the party, I chose to just do pizza. The kids were totally cool with eating pizza 2 nights in a row. They had Papa John's at the karate thing, and then I made homemade pizza. I am using the dough from Aldi. It's in the refrigerated section. It is great. I like to take it out of the fridge a few 30 minutes about to kind of come to room temperature a little bit before I stretch it out. I feel like it stretches better if you let it sit for just a little bit on the counter. And then for my pans, I like to spray them with some olive oil cooking spray and then sprinkle on a little bit of cornmeal, and then I will stretch out my dough over my pans. One of my pans, the darker gray one, is from Aldi. It's a non-stick pan, and then the other one isn't non-stick, and I really need to spray that one really well or the pizza will stick, but I still spray both of them with the olive oil spray and a little bit of cornmeal, and then get the dough on there, and then I like to stab it with a fork a little bit so that it pops any of the air bubbles, and then I like to par bake the crust for about 5 minutes at 425. Then after the 5 minutes, all you have to do is go in and add your toppings. So for the bigger pizza, I am doing pizza sauce and then some mozzarella and cheddar cheese. And then we were adding on pineapple and some Canadian bacon. And then for the second pizza, this pan is a little bit smaller. I think this one's a 12-inch and the other one is a 16. On the 12-inch, the crust is a little bit thicker, and because it's a smaller pan but the same amount of dough. And I just did some pizza sauce, a little bit more for that thicker crust, and then mozzarella cheese and pepperoni. I really like the way that the crust gets a little bit crispy on that bigger pan. It's thin and crispy and so good. Highly recommend the pizza dough from Aldi. To go with that, we had a little bag mix of Caesar salad, and then Lily just had some fresh vegetables on the side. Sunday was the day after Elijah's birthday, and that's the day where he got to pick everything that we ate for lunch and breakfast and dinner. So for breakfast, he picked the croissant mummies that I make for Halloween. And then for lunch, we went out and we had Five Guys. We were doing some birthday shopping, letting him spend his birthday money. We took him to the mall. We took him to Build-A-Bear. And then we also found this new toy store that's not in the mall, but it's close to a mall. It's called Learning Express. I think they're franchises, so you might have them near you. But he loved it. He spent a lot of his money, but he still has some left. And yeah, we just enjoyed the day. But for his dinner, he picked the grape jelly chili sauce meatballs over mashed potatoes with some corn. So this is really easy to make. My dad used to make it all the time. You just take some meatballs, 1 jar of chili sauce, and then I like to usually fill that jar about halfway up with water to get everything out of there, and then half a jar of grape jelly, and that's it. You put it all in the crock pot. You put it on low if you're going to let it cook for a long time, or high if you don't have very long. I didn't have very long because I started this once we got home from the mall. So I put it on high and let it cook for 3 hours, and that was it, and it was done. I made some mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot and then some corn on the stove, and that was a super simple, easy birthday dinner for Elijah. Monday ended up being just whatever you can find, whatever you want to eat. So Elijah had ravioli, Lily had ABC's 1, 2, 3s and meatballs, and I had this beef stew, like soup that I got from Kroger earlier in the day. And Andy made his like weird concoction of food. He did this back in January when he had teeth pulled. He mixed together cream of chicken soup, a can of green beans that he cut up into like teeny tiny pieces, and then some really small like pasta in there, like the little tiny stars, and let it all cook. And that was his dinner. This day he had a tooth pulled, and neither one of us really thought about it like beforehand. And he was like, yeah, I don't really feel like chewing the food that I was gonna make for dinner. And I was like, well, if you're not gonna eat, I don't really feel like cooking. So we just decided to have whatever we could come up with. A couple of years ago, I started the tradition where I make chili every Halloween. So that's what I did this year. I actually made chili a couple weeks back before we went camping, and I showed it step by step then. So I didn't show it step by step this time because it's exactly the same, except this time I did remember to put the dried red chili peppers in there. It definitely adds some flavor. So we just had that with some cheddar cheese on top and some crackers. It makes it really easy to get some food in the kids before we go trick-or-treating. And then it can stay in the crock pot. I don't have to worry about cleaning up dinner. And me and Andy actually didn't even eat until we came home from trick-or-treating. Wednesday night, I took the leftover chili and made chili mac. So I started off by making my Instant Pot macaroni and cheese, which is 4 cups of water or chicken broth, and then 16 ounces of pasta. I like to use elbows. And then you add in 2 tablespoons of butter. And if you're doing water like me, I like to add in the Knorr chicken bouillon powder, and then whatever seasonings that you want. I did some paprika, some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and some dry mustard. I gave that a little stir, and then I put a lid on this and let this cook on manual high pressure for 5 minutes. Once it is done, all you have to do is release all of the pressure right after it gets done cooking. And then once that pressure is released, you just go in and stir this up. I know it looks like there's quite a bit of liquid in there. It is okay. The noodles will continue to absorb it. And then when you start adding cheese and stuff in there, it'll help thicken it up. So you add cheese in there just a little bit at a time. I added some mozzarella, and then I've got, I think, some Mexican style and some cheddar, just a little bit of each of them at a time. And then I do add just a little bit of milk. And then once I've got it looking how I want it to look, you can taste it for any seasonings. But then I'm going to add in 3.5 cups of chili. I heated this up in the microwave, so it was already warm. And then I felt like it needed a little bit more cheese, so I added in a little bit more cheese, and that's it. It is delicious. You could add more or less chili depending on your taste, but this is the amount that we like in it. 3.5 cups is like the perfect amount for us. It comes the like perfect consistency. This is a great and easy way to use up some leftover chili, and then I threw the rest of the chili in the freezer to make more of this in the future, or chili baked potatoes, chili nachos, all kinds of stuff that you can make with leftover chili. And finally, the last meal of the week is just some teriyaki salmon and fried rice. I found this teriyaki sauce at Kroger. It is the Panda Express one. And I'm just taking that and putting it all over 4 pieces of salmon. I've got them on my air fryer rack on a piece of foil for easy cleanup. And I'm just going to spread some of that on each piece of salmon and then pop it in the air fryer on about 400 for 10 to 15 minutes. Depends on the thickness of your salmon. Just keep an eye on it. You don't want to like overcook it and it be super dry. And you don't want to undercook it. So yeah, just keep an eye on it until it gets done all the way through. I like to start checking it about 10 minutes. I think mine took closer to the 15-minute mark because they were pretty thick this time. And this is how they looked when they came out. They were nice and like browned on the top and crispy. and I just served it with some fried rice that I homemade. I've shown my fried rice so many times. There will be a video linked down below if you haven't seen that before, or if you want a refresher on the recipe, it'll be linked down there for you. But that is going to be it for this week's What's for Dinner. I hope that y'all enjoyed it, even though it was like a really weird off week and I didn't really share anything new. But I hope y'all have a great week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.